Assalamualaikum and hi to Madam Sarah. Today we will present about a detailed analysis of data collected from a sample of students at Mara Professional College. These data are focusing on gender, diploma programs, CGPA, study methods, and support system. Now, let's begin with the objective of this study. The first objective is to summarize the data of gender, diploma programs, study methods, support system, and CGPA using statistical tables and graphical display. The second objective is to summarize a set of data by identifying a single value that represents the center or typical value of the dataset of the variables. And the last objective is to describe the spread of variability in the dataset and analyze the skewness of students' CGPA. The first dataset focuses on gender distribution. Out of 80 students, 38 are female and 42 are male. This provides a nearly even representation, which ensures balanced insight into the study findings. Here, we analyze the distribution of students across diploma programs. The first one is DEC that has 18 students, DCD has 16 students, while DCS leads with 26 students, and DIA has 20 students. The diversity in programs allows us to evaluate trends across different fields of study. Now, looking at CGPA, the data shows that 23 students achieve a CGPA between 2 until 2.5, while 19 students fell in the range of 2.5 until 3, and 24 students achieve 3 until 3.5. Only 14 students score between 3.5 until 4. This distribution reflects varying academic performance, with the majority clustered around 3 until 3.5. Next, we explore study preference. Self-study is the most popular with 35 students, while group study is preferred by 19 students and 26 students use a mix of both methods. This preference highlights how students balance independent and collaborative learning. When analyzing support system, we found that 34 students rely on family and 46 students prefer peer support. Interestingly, male students tend to depend more on family, while female students lean toward peer support. Now, we switch to the students' distribution by diploma program. We can see that the majority of the selected KPM students are from DCS program, which is 33% of 80 students. However, the minority of the students are from DCD program, which 20% of the students, while the students from DIA and DEC are 25% and 32% respectively. The table above shows the number of students from the diploma program respectively, and the pie chart shows the percentage of the students.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi, my name is Muhammad Arif Fazan bin Abdul Halim and I'm from DK2A. So in this part, I will continue my presentation by explaining three parts, which is first I'm going to continue with the second pie chart student distribution by preferred study methods, and then the second one I'm going to explain three comparisons between two variable, which is study method, preferred study method, diploma program, uh, support system, and gender. And then for the last one, I'm going to explain about the summary of the selected KPM students by their CGPA. Okay, for this slide, uh, I provide from this slide it shows one table and one pie chart, which is 44% is for self-study, 32% is for both, which is self-study and group study, 24% is for group study. So the majority of the selected KPM students find self-study more suitable for learning, possibly due to flexibility or reduced committee time. The pie chart above show that 44% or 35 out of 18 students use self-study rather than group study method. However, there are a few students who find it more comfortable to study by group. rather than self-study, which is 16 students from the 18 students KPM. Okay, next. So in this part, I'm going to explain the three comparisons between two variables, which is the first comparison is the comparison of gender and support systems. On the above graph, the green light represent for the male and for the blue color it represent for the female. So the bar chart above shows that 14 female students and 20 male students rely on family as their support systems. Besides that, 24 female students and 22 male students rely more on peer as their support systems. This information explains that the male students tend to rely slightly more on family as their support system, while female students rely more on peers as their family support system. So, so this is the second comparison of diploma and preferred study methods. As for the C program, most of the students find self-study is more effective and comfortable method to use, while they believe that group study is inefficient as the number of students using this method is very low. So, if you look at the above graph, there are 11 students find self-study is more convenient compared to one student in the DEC program that finds study group method is more effective. So there are a huge difference between the self-study and the study group. Besides, DCD students don't have a huge difference gap between the study methods. The bar chart shows 7 students using both methods as their preferred study methods, while 6 students use self-study method and 3 students study by group. Moreover, the majority of DCS students choose group study method as their preferred study methods rather than self-study to achieve an excellent result. As for DIA students, uh, the student prefer both rather than study group, which is in both self-study. The student that choose self-study is more rather than study group, which is the difference is 5, which is 8 student find self-study is more effective and 3 student find study group is more convenient. So this is the third comparison of gender and study preferred. So this is the third comparison of gender and study preferred method. Mm, Based on the chart, we know that females slightly more prefer both group study and self-study compared to males, while females also prefer group study more than males, and the males strongly prefer self-study compared to females. It means that the overall trend shows males favor learning independently, so male more to self-study, while female more to study by group or group collaborations. So this is the last part of the explanations of me, which is the summary of selected KPM student by CGPA. So the table shows the CGPA, the number of students, and the the more informations about the more information to create the graph, which is the graphical presentations. So for the first graphical presentation, this is the histogram that shows the number of students and CGPA, which is the distribution of the student by their range of CGPA. So so this is the which is using the same data but different graphical presentation, which is this is the frequency polygon distributions graph. This is the last, which is the OGIF graph that shows the cumulative frequency and the CGPA. So the overall is the frequency distribution is symmetrical as the data value evenly distribute around the central peak, which is most of the students got between 2.5 and 3 CGPA point, which is the middle of the 2 until 4 point of the CGPA result.
So let's start by analyzing the CGPA performance of female students. The mean CGPA for 38 female students is 2.92, indicating the average performance. The mode revealed that the most frequent CGPA range for female students is 3. The median CGPA is 2.91, showing that half of the female students scored above this value, and the other half scored below. Quartile analysis shows that 75% of female students scored below 3.34, while 25% scored below 2.48. The standard deviation for female CGPA is 0.52, highlighting a relatively stable performance among female students. So let's look at the male students. The mean CGPA for 42 male students is 2.94, slightly higher than that of female. The mode reveals two frequent CGPA ranges, which is 2.00 to 2.50 and 3.00 to 3.50, reflecting a wider variation in male CGPA scores. The median CGPA is 3.00, slightly higher than that of females. Quartile analysis shows that 75% of male students scored below 3.40, while 25% scored below 2.40. The standard deviation for male CGPA is 0.56, indicating greater variability in their performance compared to females.
Let's start by looking at the skewness of female students' CGPA. The graph shows a negative distribution, meaning that most female students have higher CGPA scores. With few on the lower end, this indicates that female students tend to perform well academically. Next, we have the skewness graph for male students' CGPA. Here, we see a positive distribution, meaning more male students have lower CGPA scores compared to higher ones. This shows that male students' performance is slightly more varied, with some doing well and others scoring lower. To confirm the skewness pattern, we use Pearson's measure of skewness. The results supports what we saw in the graphs. Female students' CGPA show negative skewness, while male students' CGPA show positive skewness. Now, let's talk about the coefficient of variation, or COV. This tells us about the consistency of the student's performance. The results show that male students have greater variability in their CGPA, making their performance less stable. Meanwhile, female students show more consistent results due to lower variability. To sum up, the CGPA analysis shows that both male and female students achieve similar academic performance on average. However, female students' scores are more consistent, while male students show more variability in their results. This suggests that targeted academic support could help improve performance consistency, especially for male students. For example, introducing mentorship programs and self study workshops can help students achieve more stable academic results.